Who are we trying to gatekeep things from? Because at the end of the day, it's still the same people at the top who are winning.
A gatekeeper is someone who has information or details and intentionally decides to withhold for whatever reason.
You can't really gatekeep anymore because people have stories to tell. There's always going to be a new wave of creatives entering any industry.
Dear Gatekeeper, this is the open letter you never expected. From the ones who weren't chosen, who didn't get the cosign, who were told not yet. This series isn't about begging for entry, it's about breaking barriers and building new bridges on our own terms. Meet the rebels, creatives and visionaries who got it done without your stamp. Why gatekeep? What are you really protecting and from who? Our community are writing a new narrative without limitations, carving our own lane and sharing opportunities. Each episode, we bring on guests who drop real gems, not just about what they do, but how they made it through the doors to success. This is Industry Club. This is Dear Gatekeeper.
Hey. Hi, my name's Liak Pereva.
My name is Vlad Tarabasa.
Mary Manderfield.
I'm a program director by way of work, but I do a number of other things.
I'm a broadcaster and I run a collective called Making Moves.
From designing shoes to hats to menswear to women's wear to illustrations to 3D.
I make content online in the genre of inspiration and faith that I preach, and I am trying to do content just to inspire people, trying to be a source of hope for people, to give them some inspiration.
I grew up listening to the radio, absolutely loved it. Always thought the people on the radio were my friends and knew that I wanted to work in that space, but I had no idea how. Get the dog in. She's so chill. It's a nice energy in the space.
What is the highlight of your career?
Some names that I worked with would be Idris Elba. We did a music video together for his Boasty video, so that was cool.
I've been so lucky. I've worked with brands like Bumble, Soho House, the North Face, and every time I do a job for a big brand, it's kind of validating and it affirms that I'm kind of doing the right thing, and yeah, I feel really lucky.
What does community mean to you?
Community means everything, and I think people have this false facade of what community is sometimes, and they think it has to be like really structured, or it's like a cool kids club, or you know, you have to be in a certain space or look a certain way. But I think I'm reminded of community every single day when, you know, you chat to people at the bus stop, you talk to someone in your local shop, and you know, we have to stop thinking of one type of person as a creative. Everyone is creative, whether you work in this industry or not.
Community means being around people that support you, that love you, that help you to grow in your space, and to be with people that will encourage you and get you into the places as well. When people grow and your friends grow, they're meant to be there with you growing as well. They're not trying to grow ahead of you, right? You grow as a team and as a collective.
Community is big, it's huge. I think as humans, we need community. So that is embedded in our DNA as human beings first, but from a creative standpoint, it's just how the economy runs. You kind of get that good blend of demand and supply when you've got a good economy or a great community, and I think that just fosters change, it drives innovation.
Yeah, I try and kind of bring a sense of community just to my everyday life, but it's also about, you know, not answering the same questions over and over individually, but actually just like having your journey in public. So I knew as a broadcaster, you know, I'm gonna start here, I don't really know much, I don't have many connections, and I'm gonna end here, which is a place which is gonna be unrecognizable from now. And I didn't want to just keep all of that to myself and keep all my learnings to myself. So I set up Making Moves. It is mainly a newsletter, but also we do events, you know, in-person things, resources, guides, and that's just about me kind of learning in public, bringing people along with me, and people within that community, like they all help each other out as well.
And so just using London as an example, I think we'd all agree we've seen a decline in just the social construct over the last couple of years. A lot of clubs have been shut down. I remember I used to go to clubs like Fabric and gas club, if we're going back many years. So London was in a place where it's still London, you know, a lot of people want to come here and it's great, but socially I think a lot of people who live there still struggle to kind of go to the next best place or have that sort of accessibility. So we are industry in terms of the industry community. Some of the amazing things you guys have done is just bringing people together, as simple as that.
Oh, well done.
I think every creative should find themselves some kind of community that relates to what they do. It just makes the whole process so much smoother. I think a lot of us know it's going to be a long journey regardless, but if you've got someone like almost holding your hand or supporting you from the shoulder, it just makes it, I don't know, I want to say accessible, but that just seems quite obvious.
Creating that real social construct and foundation for people to come, meet other people, network at a base level, and taking that all the way to an extreme. So I think, yeah, you've given people more to look forward to, which is amazing, especially in the current economic climate. So I think that is powerful.
How do you leave the gates open for the next generation?
To be honest, I would not be doing what I'm doing if I didn't have people guiding me, mentoring me and supporting me along the way. And so I feel like I'm doing the industry a disservice if I don't let other kind of little Marys come and do the same thing. And so much funding has been cut from the creative industries that the same types of events don't exist that I had, you know, back in the day. So people keep saying like, oh, someone needs to create this or someone needs to share this. Someone is like, well, be that someone then. And I don't want to be the only person that has the newsletter or the only person that does these events or whatever. I want to encourage everyone to grow a community. I want to encourage everyone to share their resources. I want to encourage everyone to be more open. It's not about me being the head of something. It's about me setting an example that, like, guys, who are we trying to gatekeep things from? Because at the end of the day, it's still the same people at the top who are winning. So we might as well kind of help each other out. And for selfish reasons, I know that I'm going to be a broadcaster for the rest of my career. I want the producers that I'm working with, I want the commissioners that I'm working with, I want the other presenters that I'm working with to be nice, generous, genuine people. So I'm trying to foster that kind of sentiment now, so that in 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, I've got those good-minded people around me. That's my vibe. That's why I do what I do.
Describe a gatekeeper.
A gatekeeper is somebody who's trying to keep the doors closed to new voices, to fresh perspectives, to up-and-coming people, artists who are trying to break in. And I think it's a thing of the past, because there's always going to be a new wave of creatives entering any industry. You can't really gatekeep anymore, because people have stories to tell and people have their unique stories that they want to put out there. Social media has been a great platform for people to do that, and it's a great way to gain traction.
A gatekeeper is someone who has information or details and intentionally decides to withhold for whatever reason. But yeah, I'd say it's someone who is in a position to help or uplift, but just chooses not to.
I think that people grow better, people collaborate better when they help each other out. It's lonely at the top, it can be, and there's no reward in trying to do everything yourself, to win by yourself and to keep people out, because people deserve to be heard. People's stories need to be shared. So open up those gates and those barriers to allow people to come in. It's actually beneficial for yourself and for the people as well. It's a better environment when we grow together.
Recall an encounter with a gatekeeper.
I had an instance where I was invited to a particular event, but because I wasn't cool with the organizers, somehow it didn't happen, right? So someone invited me, but then I had a previous relationship with the people organizing it, which in my eyes was something that happened years ago. But fashion has that, it's quite a, competitive industry in a weird way. So I think it's good sometimes, although sometimes it can be an issue, but I don't mind it. I think people are allowed to sort of choose their friends and be able to sort of change their minds on things. But I like to focus on talent, and I think if you focus on talent and just the work itself, that sort of transcends any kind of human relationship.
You don't need to try and fit into people who don't really want you there, because you'll have your own crowd and you can be your own leader and you can create your own tribe. And that's kind of the best thing that I would suggest, is not trying to fit into the places where you might not fit, but creating your own mode and creating your own path.
Rejection is 100% part of the job. You have to get used to it very, very quickly. Don't take anything personally. Keep it moving and keep your energy going. If you wallow for too long, it's gonna get the better of you. So you always give yourself like that day to be down. Tomorrow's a new day. And for me, music really helps just to uplift me. Being with my friends and being around people that aren't in this industry so they can give you a bit of a reality check.
If there's something that isn't for me, I would look at it as God's redirection as opposed to rejection, and I would understand that there's going to be something better for me. That door didn't open because it wasn't meant for me, and there is something better on the other side if I go this way and trust God.
What is a common barrier faced by creatives?
I think one common barrier that creatives would face would be imposter syndrome.
I'm gonna be real with you. Not once in my life have I ever experienced imposter syndrome. I feel like it was created by one insecure person and they just spread their message to everyone.
Feeling like you're not worthy, not qualified. And I would just say that God has called you to do what you're trying to do and to keep pushing on. You have a unique and creative story that no one else has. And it's just about staying consistent with it, focusing on what you're good at, and keep pushing out your story and trying to do what you're trying to do.
Mary Manderfield, who is from Hits Radio. How hard is it for an artist who is currently the in thing to manage to keep that going over the years?
I've got all the receipts of my hard work. I've got all of that history. No one can take that away from me. So I deserve to be in every room that I'm in. I deserve to be in every conversation that I'm brought up in. And I deserve a seat at every table. I think I would break down the barrier of people thinking it's not possible or that it's too difficult to get into. Because when I first started doing radio, everyone said, oh, but it's really hard and loads of people want to do it. And you know, you're going to spend years trying to get into that industry. And you actually think, like, someone has to do it, so why shouldn't it be you? And I think self-belief is something that usually comes with age and experience, but if I could instill that into people sooner, I think it would help people reach their dreams a lot quicker.
I'm all about education. Most people who know me know I'm always reading and always trying to sort of share knowledge. So I think it's really just about being open to teaching people and being approachable. A lot of people approach me based on conversations around the business of fashion or history of fashion. I'm always willing and happy to speak to people, so I'll keep doing that. So I think that's really kind of channeling a learning sort of approach or mindset. If I can dream it, I can achieve it. So it's as simple as that. And I'm not afraid of failing. I actually have a reverse take on most people's views on wanting to always win. I think the more you fail, or the more failures you have, the more likely or the more chances of success you have down the line. So rather than have quick wins, I'm happy to sort of go through the process of do that sort of marathon. So yeah.
What are you most proud of?
Okay, one thing that I'm proud of was winning the Found Brunch Gala Award. That was a Digital Creator of the Year award that I won for the videos that I was doing.
I worked on a podcast series called Noted, and I'm really proud of it because it was about taking news topics that might seem really big and challenging and just breaking them down and just making news more accessible. So we covered things from knife crime to Ozempic, and yeah, even though that was like a year ago, I still get people kind of telling me they've just listened to an episode. So yeah, super proud.
Describe your creative process.
I like because I like a sort of uniform approach to fashion. I'm quite happy to only have 10 pieces of clothes, as opposed to a lot of people who have like thousands. I'm quite happy to only have like a select few pieces. So what I try to do is make statement pieces as part of my fashion process. So looking at this design predominantly, I've dyed this. So this is a two-piece denim, which I've dyed in yellow, baggy fit. And I've created an interesting paint solution using acrylic and a couple other sort of fabric mediums, which sort of gives this yellow, leathery, weird sort of feel. But of course it's permanent, feels great, and it's also waterproof. A couple of sort of design details, double cuffs, lots of sort of pearls, rose pearls as well on the buttons, which is what you kind of have on the yellow bit here. So this is all sort of fabric paint, it's permanent, you can wash it, and it all sort of stays as it is. And then I've gone for some light embellishment, I say light, but light embellishment using pearls and flower or rose pearl types of sticky things on the buttons and all the way on the top and the pants as well. I would say this is more of a simpler design, but yeah, I just dyed it and painted it.
I'm Mary Manderfield. I'm a broadcaster and I run a collective called Making Moves.
My name is Vlad Tarabasa. I'm a Christian content creator.
And my name's Liak Pareva. I'm a program director.
Dear Gatekeepers.
And Dear Gatekeeper.
Dear Gatekeepers, knock it off.
What are you going to do? Die with all your secrets?
Cut the shit and, let's be more inclusive.
Open up those gates. London deserves new, fresh perspectives and stories.
You may as well share information now and help people along the way.
Let's be more loving and let's encourage growth and bring more people on board with our journeys.
So no more gatekeeping.
Love.
Shout out to the Industry Club and everyone who makes the creative space exciting, interesting and good vibes.
Shout out to the Industry Club, big fan, amazing guys. I think they're doing great. I think they've in some ways sort of saved the social construct of London to a good extent. I could argue that, so yeah, big up to you guys and keep doing what you're doing.